This is what a true tablespoon of peanut butter is, not this. Your abs are not special snowflakes. No matter how anyone tries to spin it, it's always gonna point back to You've seen the title, let's get straight into it. So the first tip I have for newbies is that fitness is a lifestyle and not a 90-day challenge. So if you do intend to get long-term results, you need to intend to do this for the rest of your life and not just January. So let's get it. All right, so tip number 2, I'd say would be to know exactly what you want. This really helps with discipline because if you have concrete objective goals in mind, then you'll be able to have a program that is tailored specifically towards your goals, and you'll know at the back of your mind that you're not wasting your time. You know that everything you're doing is leading towards your end goal. Also, I found that having direction in your training also breeds discipline, so that can also be a factor in helping you stay motivated, also help give you that push, and you'll be less likely to skip your sessions on a whim. Give it a try, let me know. Tip number 3, I'd say, is that you are more than the mirror. Even if you're not seeing immediate changes in the mirror, if you're feeling stronger, performing better in your cardio sessions, if your mental health is better than it was before, this is something that a lot of people overlook. All of these factors are indicators of progress, and every small victory should be celebrated. So again, you're more than the mirror. Tip number 4 links with number 2, and I'd say is to train with intent. You should go in with a plan, have a structure in your training, and you should ensure that every exercise is serving its purpose. So again, train with intent. Intent to train hard and intent to progress. I know as a beginner, you might not be 100% sure where to start when putting together your routine, and it can be quite overwhelming with the abundance of information that's out there. So what I've done is I've saved you the trouble and I've got a guide for you here. Hench Head Start is out now, you can find it on my website. What I've done is I've put together a series of customizable templates for you, and you're gonna get advice on how to structure your training, how to structure different types of exercises. You'll also get some sample programs and an introduction to general training and programming principles. This should help you get started with your gym journey and help you hit the ground running. Check it out. Yeah, I know, slight promo, but look, I gotta pay the bills somehow. And tip number 5, I'd say, is to prioritize your performance, and your aesthetics will come as a byproduct. So if you're looking to build muscle or if you're looking to burn fat, you should always approach your workouts with the intent of doing better than previously. So for example, doing an extra 2 reps on your bench press or knocking 10 seconds off of your 5K time. And this might not happen every session, and that's fine, but as long as the intention is there, that's what matters. And the gradual accumulation of these mini personal bests is what gets results. They'll add up into something great. And tip number 6 is that your pen is your pal. This links with tip number 5. How are you gonna know what targets to be if you don't remember what they are? Make sure you write down every set, every rep, and every weight you use in each of your workouts. This is gonna help you remember them for the next session and help keep yourself accountable. You might think that you'll remember them, but trust me, you won't. So write them down. It might seem tedious at first, but your future self will thank you. Tip number 7, I'd say, is that your ego is your enemy in the gym. Now, some people might just slap 10 kilos every week in the name of progressive overload. However, if your form starts to break down, that doesn't really count as progress, and you're just putting yourself at unnecessary injury risk. So remember, progress is only progress if your form is consistent. Ego is the enemy, guys. Your progress should be slow, steady, and gradual. And tip number 8, I'd say, is to prioritize compound exercises. These are movements which work multiple muscle groups at the same time. So for example, military press, bench press, squats, deadlifts. These are really efficient since you're working multiple muscle groups at the same time. Also, they're also quite functional since you're training fundamental movement patterns and you're training your body to get stronger as a unit. And then you can supplement these movements with your isolation exercises. So for example, bicep curls, tricep extensions, etc. Tip number 9 is that calorie deficit is the foundation of your fat loss. No matter how anyone tries to spin it, it's always gonna point back to energy in versus energy out, since fat is stored energy. If anybody tries to tell you different, they're probably trying to sell you something. Everything points back to calories in versus calories out. Tip number 10 might be useful for you, is that calories come from carbs, protein, and fat. These are what are called macronutrients. So carbs and protein both each have 4 calories per gram, and fat has 9 calories per gram. And tip number 11 is a suggestion for those looking to lose fat, is to increase your protein intake. For example, 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. This will help you lose fat for 2 reasons. Number 1, protein is the most filling macronutrient. As you eat more protein, you'll feel more full in general. Hence, it can help you regulate hunger and you'll be less inclined to binge eat on junk food. Second reason is that it can help you build muscle while in a calorie deficit and help maintain as much muscle as possible. Tip number 12, I've already alluded to, but there is no magic diet for fat loss. Bro diet, intermittent fasting, low carb, keto, carnivore, if you fit your macros, there is no magic diet for fat loss, all right? It still boils down to energy in versus energy out. These can all be different methods of helping you get into a calorie deficit. Tip number 13 is that micronutrients still do matter, so your vitamins and minerals, and how to get appropriate micronutrients in your diet. Again, make sure you're consuming mostly whole, minimally processed foods. So make sure at least 80 to 90% of your nutrition comes from whole foods. Additionally, make sure you get your 5 a day. Simple stuff. Micronutrients are really important for just general health of the body. For example, it can help you absorb your micronutrients more effectively. Also good for bone health, and you'll just feel better overall. Tip number 14 is that ab anxiety is keeping you small. Now, if you're someone on the smaller side and you're looking to put on a large amount of muscle on your frame, you have no reason to cut. Again, this is assuming you don't have much fat to lose and you're on the smaller side and you're already somewhat at a low level of body fat. Eating at a slight calorie surplus will serve you well if you're looking to build muscle, since you'll be able to have extra energy to perform well in your workouts and stimulate progressive overload. A lot of these ultra diced, super shredded influencers that you might see on Instagram or TikTok likely are not natural, i.e. training without the use of performance enhancers, or they're genetic outliers. A lot of them might propagate this idea that you need to have a super shredded six-pack 24/7, otherwise you're fat. Like, no. Like, there's more to fitness than that. So again, if you're a small guy and you're looking to put on a significant amount of muscle on your frame, or you've hit a plateau and you don't have a lot of body fat to lose, eating in a slight calorie surplus will serve you well if you're looking to add more muscle to your frame. However, do not use this, like this is the other side of the coin, do not use this as an excuse just to binge and eat McDonald's every day in the name of getting extra calories in for the gym. You'll just end up putting on excessive fat and your health will go down the window. So a small calorie surplus will serve you well. If you're someone who does have a lot of body fat to lose, so for example, if you're overweight, obese, or you just have quite a lot of body fat to lose in general, then you can get away with building muscle and losing fat at the same time at an appreciable rate. However, as you get leaner, building muscle will get slower and slower, and eventually there'll come a point where your body doesn't let you build muscle anymore until you eat more. Tip number 15, belly fat workouts do not exist. Neither do back fat workouts, neither do arm fat workouts, neither do leg fat workouts. A lot of videos you might see on YouTube labeled belly fat workout or love handle workout, these are just tricks for clicks. You know, it's just a way for these influencers to get more views, because these are the type of titles, these are the type of videos that people want to see. People want to see, I can get results quick. But unfortunately, that's not the reality. You can't choose where your body loses fat, unfortunately. It just comes down to calories in versus calories out, and being patient with your calorie deficit over time. Your body is going to lose fat where it wants to. That's just the reality. And you just have to be patient. It'll come off the stubborn areas eventually. On number 16, still on the subject of abs, your abs are not special snowflakes. Your abs are a muscle just like any other muscle group on your body. Therefore, they should be trained intensely with the intention to progressively overload on your ab exercises. So doing extra reps or adding some sort of extra resistance like a backpack or a weight plate. That way, when you do decide to go on a fat loss phase, you will not be disappointed when you decide to cut down. Also, side note, if you do want to see your abs, you do have to reach a low enough body fat for your abs to be somewhat visible. However, if you continue training your abs with progressive overload, then you might be able to have more defined abs at a slightly higher body fat percentage than before. However, it still does have to be at a low enough level to be visible. Train your abs. Abs are not made in the kitchen. Abs are built in the gym and revealed in the kitchen. Number 17, I say, is to be realistic with your goals. For example, when you're starting a new routine, you need to truly and truthfully evaluate with yourself. How many days per week can I train? Instead of thinking, how many days per week do I want to train? So for example, 6 days per week or whatever. Think realistically, think how many days per week can I train consistently for the next 6 months? That's a better way to approach it, in my opinion. Consistency trumps everything. Tip number 18, do not skip your cardio. Whether you're bulking or you're cutting, heart health still matters. Do your cardio. That can be walking, playing a sport, going for a cycle, going for a jog. Choose a form of cardio that you enjoy. Health still matters. Number 19, walking is underrated. I might make a whole video on this on its own, but yeah, walking is underrated. Walk more, just do it. Number 20, sleep is for the strong. I completely rebuke the notion that sleep is for the weak. I hate that saying. This is something that's often overlooked by people as well. Sleep is very important for 2 reasons. Number one, if you're looking to build muscle, you need to sleep enough so that you can recover, to continually have high quality sessions and continue to progressively overload. If you don't sleep, you don't recover, and your sessions will be lower quality. You'll be less likely to apply progressive overload, and this will slow down the muscle building process. Number two, if you're trying to lose fat, sleep has been shown in studies to help regulate hunger. This is due to the hormonal balance that it encourages. You'll be less likely to binge eat, and ultimately you'll be less likely to consume excessive calories, hence helping you lose fat. Number 21, let's talk peanut butter. A bit random, but if you do track your calories on MyFitnessPal, for example, this is what a true tablespoon of peanut butter is, not this. Tip number 22 is a bit more general. Don't worry if you don't get everything right the first time. Think of it as something to aspire to, one step at a time. There's always going to be some trial and error. I'm still learning myself as well. And last but not least, tip number 23, I'd say, is to just learn to love the process. Fitness doesn't have to be a chore. For example, you can learn how to cook new, fun, and healthy recipes. You can choose exercises in the gym that you enjoy doing to make your program as enjoyable as possible. You can also take up a sport just to get more fit in general. And if you enjoy it, you'll be more likely to be consistent. And again, consistency trumps everything with fitness. I promise what starts off as a chore will eventually become the highlight of your day. Now that concludes the video. I hope you found that useful. Like, sub, all that YouTube stuff in a bit.